Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about Two Wrongs Make It Fun. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. This story isn't really a recent story, but it is a story that is full of drama. It started on FFXIV and then spread everywhere, even affecting friends that didn't play Final Fantasy XIV and my family to some extent. So here we go. At the end of 2020, little old me was extremely excited for the new Eden tier. Eden's Promise. I'm a savage ultimate raider, so whenever new endgame content is released, I always get hyped up. Little did I know that the patch that brought my favorite raid tier would also bring so much drama along with it. I had been on a break between the Eden's Verse and Eden's Promise releases. I was playing other games with my friends from Brazil because I was done with farming the best in slot for my mains on that patch. I felt like I didn't have much to do in the game other than farm gil, and I was also bored of crafting. I was one of those crazy mofos that built an empire by delivering coffee biscuits 18 times a day to the Leave Meat NPC. That burned me out and I quit the game temporarily. When I came back, my old FC had kicked me for inactivity. When I asked around, I found out that the FC actually dissolved because of drama. So I decided to join a new FC. I was living in Brazil and I was in the Brazilian server, so I joined a Brazilian FC. All right, chat, what's the Brazilian server? Does anybody know? I think it's Primal. A server in Primal? Behemoth. Okay, two people said Behemoth. Rio de Genova. No, I haven't seen any Brazilians in Genova. Okay, whole chat like agrees it's Behemoth. All right. Portuguese is my main language, so that made it easier to communicate with people. After a few days playing in this new FC, I saw that they needed help organizing farm parties for extreme mounts. I was still working on my tank mounts, so I volunteered to guide one of the parties. One of the FC officers was a guy named Val. He had the same situation as me, an interest in the tank mounts, so he decided to lead the other group. We communicated a lot about how to split and merge the groups as we organized the farm for everyone. And because of this constant communication, we became friends and started playing together every day. Val and I started becoming more intimate as we continued to stay up late together and do dailies every day. We would spend time in his private house, G-posing together, and my high-end content prog was suddenly forgotten as I immersed myself in spending all my time with Val. Over a period of about 3 months, my intimate relationship with Val grew. We were having sleep calls on Discord a few nights a week, and eventually we started dating online. We were doing other things e-couples do, like watching anime and series together. We would spend entire days on calls. When he told me about the Endwalker announcement, I realized that I didn't have the gear to start raiding the current tier and couldn't even think of trying to join a static to raid with. After that day, I started playing less with Val. I dedicated myself to gearing my crafters so I could craft my Crystal Exarch gear. Then I started doing the Tower of Paradigm's Breach runs to farm raid coins to augment my Crypt Lurker gear, and also farmed the pieces that were necessary for my pre-Savage Bis. After I was done with that, I realized that I also had to go after the relic. When I was told that the relic would be just like the Stormblood ones, by doing another field operation that I hadn't even touched, I went crazy. But Val told me he was a Baja expert, and he would take me through it. We hoped that would help me get the relic as quickly as possible. Spoiler alert, he got bored of it, and I didn't get the relic. But anyway, we played through all the content that was Baja related. I got rank 25 in there with all the buffs, plus 10, and it was effortless. And then one of Val's friends mentioned that I could raid with the diamond weapon, no problem. That sounds so funny to say. Diamond weapon, but I get it. The next day, I reached out to the FC trying to form a group of interested people to get the diamond weapon clear and get my weapon. Of course, Val volunteered to come along and help since he knew the fight. In my eyes back then, he was a god in that fight. He optimized his damage windows to the limit to touch the safe spot for the second that the mechanic needed him to be there, and in the next second he was already at the boss, doing his rotation and perfectly dancing through the battlefield. Oh, I could just imagine like OP's eyes just like sparkling like, oh my god, you're so cool, Val. You got that uptime. Damn, I'm such a stupid girl when I'm in love. Look at this. Look how I used to admire his gameplay. I got my weapon in one day. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that all the people who progged Diamond Weapon Extreme with me were interested in doing the Savage tier. I had gotten my weapon and the static at the same time, and I was going to prog the tier alongside my loved one. Awesome, right? I was very excited to prog. We raided 3 days a week for 3 hours a day, and it took us 10 weeks just to clear E9S. 10 effing weeks just to clear the first fight of the tier? Damn. Day after day, we were placing the seeds in the wrong place, stepping on the same tiles and killing each other, and not knowing how to find the safe pizza slice on the triple shadow cleave. That group was really bad, but I was there rooting for them and helping them with anything they needed help with. Rotations and everything so we could get to E12S and clear. Another spoiler, it didn't happen. I love these little comments in the brackets like, spoiler, didn't get the Baja weapon. Spoiler, we didn't finish the raid here. But during the course of those 7 months, 7 months! But during the course of those 7 months until Endwalker release, we managed to clear up to E11S. We decided to take a break because Endwalker was only a week away. Then Endwalker came along. Val and I had been together for almost a year now. We were in love. So in love that I decided to finally introduce him to my friends from Brazil. But when I got back to them, they had a new friend that I'll call Hester. She was the new female quota of the group. In brackets, she says, we had this joke that since they were all males and I was the only female, I was the female quota of the group. And when I got back, they told me I was replaced by her. But it was a joke. Hester was a very exposed person online. She had an Instagram loaded with pictures of herself. She was a lot different than me. I don't like to expose myself, and I didn't even have an Instagram account. Fair enough. Her brother was also a Twitch streamer, so she had quite a few extra followers for that. Val saw her profile because Hester had it linked to her Discord, and something had caught his attention about her. She had Sage Main written on her Insta bio. For almost a month, Val kept talking about Hester. He was telling me that he wanted to bring her to play Final Fantasy XIV with us, since she had that in her bio. But I wasn't even close to her like that. I didn't feel comfortable asking Hester about her Instagram and inviting her to come play with us. I'm not the type to stalk people's profiles and check their stuff unless they send it to me specifically. So the idea of me inviting her out of nowhere was problematic to me. Yeah, that's a bit strange. Gotta like naturally like be friends with her first. Can't be like, yeah, by the way, my boyfriend saw your Instagram and saw that you had Sage Main in your bio, and he keeps talking to me for like a month and wanted me to invite you. Sus, man, what the hell? Disclaimer, I was in love. I could not see the red flag. Val and I fought and argued because while I was out of Final Fantasy giving my friends from Brazil some attention and playing with them, Val was tryharding on Final Fantasy XIV. When patch 6.1 released, he was already fully prepared to raid the Savage tiers. I got super mad at him for not waiting for me and for not being that social with my friends. He said it was my choice to leave the game during the expansion release. He had expected me to be more active. I had been spending my time playing VR chat with Hester and my friends from Brazil. And since VR chat is a very social game, I ended up getting some dudes hitting on me, and Val didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. Okay, so OP is saying here that they did start getting close to Hester. They're playing games with Hester now. But damn, yeah, they're being they're being hit on by like VR people, and Val ain't liking that. Now, Val is a PlayStation player, and since I sold my PlayStation to buy my PC, I had my account full of games sitting there doing nothing. So I had decided to lend my PS account to Val so he could play my games whenever he wanted. But because of this argument, I mentioned that the fact that some people were hitting on me, he decided to change my real name on my PlayStation account to ERP Whore to publicly shame me to my PlayStation friends. What the fuck? One of my friends even messaged me on WhatsApp, which is a very popular app in Brazil, to let me know my account was hacked because my real name was changed from my actual name to ERP Whore. And when I talked to him about it, he got defensive about it. So I knew it was him and not a hacker. After we broke up, he didn't even wait 2 days before he was already messaging Hester and inviting her to come play Final Fantasy with him. Not only that, he was being very flirtatious with her. Since she didn't know we were over, Hester had printed all the messages and sent them to me. She thought I would confront him about it and break up with him, but I didn't have to do anything because we were already broken up. It didn't matter anymore. I wanted to focus on spending time with my friends. I didn't care about Final Fantasy XIV. I didn't care about Val. I didn't care about anything. I was so hooked on VR chat that I ended up investing some money to buy a VR headset and full body trackers so I could move my avatar body the same way I was moving IRL. I had some dancing skills, and after a month or two, I was introduced to the nightclubs and ERP world of VR chat. It didn't take long for me to end up getting VR laid and introduced to those Lovance toys. Oh my god, those toys that I've read about in the other drama stories. They wrote here in brackets, yeah, I really got into that idea of virtual sex. Yeah, the Lovance toys. Like, you buy one, your partner buys one. It's for long distance relationships. And the only reason why I know this is because I looked up the website. Okay, guys. And there's like an app when one person uses it and the other like, I guess someone controls it on the app. I think one person controls the pressure for the other person. You can sync it up. Dude, I literally wanted to interview someone and ask them about like Lovance. Like, what if you break up? Are your toys just useless now, or can you sync up your toy to someone else in the future? That was literally one of my questions if I had ever interviewed someone who had a Lovance toy. Maybe someone in chat knows. You own one, and yes, they do. All right, so it ain't useless if you break up with your partner who has the other half of the Lovance toy. You can have multiple people sync? You mean you can have a foursome? Holy. Okay. Now everyone knows. After around a month of living that life, I decided to join some Telegram groups where people shared VR chat avatars and assets for VR chat avatars. Since I had Val's number on my phone and Val had my number on his, when I created my Telegram account, he got that juicy notification saying, OP has joined Telegram. After that, we started talking again. He apologized to me for what he did and told me he cleared P4S. He said it would be nice to have me on Final Fantasy XIV again, raiding next to him. Guess who was the dummy that gave him a second chance? Me. Oh no! Dude, if someone changed my name to like something horror on my PlayStation, I would be like, nope. No. Hell no. So me and Val started dating again, and this time it was meant to be. Dude, I love how Opie sounds so hopeful. It was meant to be. They really got into that character of who they were back then. We got back to playing Final Fantasy with vengeance, and I made my preparations to raid P1S to P4S. I had almost the whole pre-Savage Bisque gear. I felt this patch was easier to some extent, mostly because Val was giving me a lot of assistance. Oh, because it's P1S to P4S. It's different to E9S up to E12S, because the raids in the later part of the tier, I think, are generally harder than the first part of the tier. Day after day, we spent progging together, and at night, we would sleep together in sleep calls. I got my clears from P1S to P4S. A few weeks after we got back together, he was very careless with his phone and ended up dropping it at work. He didn't just drop it on the floor, he dropped it inside of one of the machines he operated at work. And the phone was damaged beyond repair. He couldn't even recover the SIM card. When he got home, he logged into Final Fantasy XIV and sent me a message in the link shell we had just for the two of us. He told me his phone broke and we wouldn't be able to sleep call anymore. Back then, Discord on PlayStation wasn't a thing. Dumb like I am, I decided to buy a new phone for him and even let him choose the model that he wanted within the budget I had to spend. Something like, I feel like this is gonna go bad, right? Something up to $1,000, even though that's a lot of money. I used to work for a worldwide company as an engineer, so I could afford it. My card had little over $1,000 of credit, but he insisted on a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra that back then was costing around $1,200. Even though I told him to choose another phone, I ended up buying the S22 Ultra for him. But my card didn't go through, so I asked my godmother to lend me her card, and I promised to pay her on payday as soon as I received my paycheck. But my paycheck got delayed and my godmother couldn't pay for the amount I spent on her card. So the total amount ended up being higher in the end because of fees and fines the bank charged. I ended up paying around $1,500 when I was planning to spend a maximum of $1,000. I got stressed about it and started to look for something to calm me down. So I decided to check the venues and nightclubs of Final Fantasy XIV and maybe have some RP and make some new friends to chill with. Every night when he logged out to go to sleep, I would stay on and hop on the party finder to find advertisements for venues and see what the nightly options were. I had so much fun and made new friends. And for the roleplay, I had made my character sightless. She had decided to train to be a white mage, but the first holy that she casted had blinded her. Fortunately, she learned how to sew and became a renowned seamstress, always making new outfits for her friends to rock at the nightclubs. Aw, cute. One day, Val decided to check on what I was doing and why I had lost interest in sleep calling with him. But he decided to do it in his own way. He logged in on an alt character that he had, and I didn't know about it. He started searching for me. He used player search to find my location and visited club after club in the same world I was in until he found me. But I didn't recognize him because he was on his alt. Val was apparently stalking me for an hour or two before one of the guys I was RPing with suggested I should visit his apartment because he needed help to restore an old kimono that was being passed from generation to generation in his family. And I agreed, being aware that the scene could lead to ERP, since my character was blind and would need to touch his body to make some measurements for the restoration. I can't. Oh my god. Oh. The imagination is real. Okay. Shortly after I entered the apartment, I got a message from Val on Discord saying, "Hey, I'm outside the building. Which apartment are you in?" I was so confused. It surprised me to think he was following me like that. I replied, "I'll be going outside in a moment. I just need to finish this roleplay." Val said, "Are you really going to ERP with this guy and leave me waiting outside?" Oh my god, this situation is so funny to me because I can't believe it's happening. I remained silent because I wasn't planning on ERPing, even though the scene was highly appropriate for it. I wasn't in the mood to deal with the drama. Val then called me on Discord and asked me which apartment I was in. I reluctantly gave him the number and let him ruin the RP. The guy told him out of character that we were busy and we wouldn't mind the visit if it was on another occasion. Val told him he was my boyfriend and didn't want me to continue the roleplay, and also told him that I was already supposed to be in bed to go to work the next day. The RP guy added me as a friend and told me that he wanted to continue the RP another day if it was possible. I said yes and accepted the friend request. What? It's like a mini drama story inside the drama story. Oh my god. The next day, I was so pissed that Val disturbed my roleplay with the suspicion that I was cheating on him that I decided not to talk to him the whole day. And at night, when the RP guy messaged me, I made myself available to continue the RP of the kimono, but this time, letting it be very clear in my actions that I wanted to make it sexual. And when he asked me about my boyfriend, I told him we were over, even though it wasn't true. Holy shit. Dude, look at this character's face. That's my face right now, too. Oh my god, the timing. And we did a very lewd scene. One that would stain the reputation of a girl if publicly shared. Not happy with just the ERP, I saved the guy's character model for G-posing and screenshotted all of the chat logs of the ERP. Holy shit. The next day, I logged in as a summoner and pulled my carbuncle to replace it with the model of the RP guy and did a very lewd pose with both characters. Val thought I was making something with his character because I had made a lot of pictures of us together in the past. When I was done with G-posing, he asked me for the pictures, and I sent the picture of me and the RP guy along with the chat logs of the ERP we did. After shit, dude. This is so much. Holy shit. Okay, we're gonna discuss this later. Holy, this is a lot to unpack. After that, we broke up, blocked each other, and I haven't heard from him since. My friends from Brazil still make jokes about him to this day. I dropped Final Fantasy XIV for a long time and invested my time in VR chat, where I met a guy that I'll call Lens from Germany. After several months dating online in VR chat, Lens invited me to move into his house, and because of the European citizenship I had because of family, I moved from Brazil to Germany to start a new life with Lens. We got married even though I didn't speak any Deutsch, German. While I was living in Germany, I transferred my character from the Brazilian server to EU, and I even tried to bring Lens to Final Fantasy XIV, but he didn't like the game that much, so we played different games and only shared our romance in real life. In the beginning of 2024, Lens and I divorced. With the little money I had left and help of his mother, I moved to Italy, my family's home country. I've started my life again, found a job here, and now I'm back in Final Fantasy XIV, ready for more drama. The end. Holy shit. Wait, what was the name of the first guy she was with? Val? Yo, it's like Val made this OP crazy. Holy, what the hell? There's like so much. Okay. Let's talk about all the red flags in order. The first one would be Val talking about Hester to OP. Like, how annoying would that be if your boyfriend was just nonstop talking about another girl, stalking another girl's Instagram, trying to make you friends with her so, well, Hester could start rating with him also. It was weird. So that was the first one. There was so many red flags, it might as well be a country. OP and Val should have discussed was the whole role-playing stuff. Okay, if Val wasn't into OP role-playing, then clearly Val is not the right person for OP to be with, because he did not like his girlfriend doing that kind of stuff. And he was always thinking OP was going to go into ERP, even if OP at the beginning wasn't going to go down the ERP path. But then, yeah, they did break up because, you know, Val changed her name on her PlayStation to ERP whore. They broke up, and then, I don't know, OP decides to take them back. Definitely should not have taken them back. But I mean, you know, people make mistakes. These are life lessons, relationship lessons. I don't know how old they are. They could still be very young, especially since we see like this revenge kind of stuff that happens later on. I am guessing they're quite young. And like, you know, I'm not trying to be like a parent or anything, because like I get that everyone makes mistakes, and like there have probably been instances, like all of us probably have made mistakes throughout our lives, you know, like in relationships and stuff like that. And sometimes when we break up, or you know, someone angers us, like sometimes you do think about like that thought of revenge. We're like, like I definitely have thought of that when I was younger. Like I used to be jealous. I would think about like revenge sometimes, but then I was like, no, that's so evil, you know. Like I can't even think of moments like of certain things I did as revenge, but like I guess my revenge stuff would be like just showing up with your new guy and being like, haha, hope you're jealous, X, you know, stuff like that. But in OP's case here, it was definitely like, oh, you think I'm gonna ERP? Okay, I'm gonna ERP. Boom, got you, bitch. Now let's break up. I think it was something like that. But I do want to say 2 wrongs don't make a right, of course, you know, but it made a funny story. I've never read like a revenge kind of story like this. Yeah, there's jealousy and revenge. You think about that a lot when you're younger. And like the older you get, you're kind of like, nah, can't be fucked with that shit. Let's move on. Let's not talk to them anymore. Can I just say something? Like, kudos to the OP for being so real and sharing like their own mistakes too. Because sometimes when I get stories that are like it makes the OP sound so perfect, like they made no mistakes, they want everyone to like them. I sometimes think, this might not be totally the whole story, right? But then when you get stories like this, you're like, okay, I think everything was said. Like we don't even need to hear the other side. I think this is how it all went down. Like this is quite real. It shows both sides just having mistakes. I will say that 70% of the people who watch my YouTube videos or listen to my stories are male. So I'm a little worried that, you know, whenever we get a girl being kind of a player in a story, the males that watch the story really are so ready to pounce on the girl. But when it's a guy who's a player, they're like, no, we totally get you, bro. Like, it is what it is. But like, see, like whenever I have like girls who like share their mistakes and stories, I worry about the hate, the pile of hate they're going to get. So just know that it is kind of male dominated in the YouTube section, and OP is probably gonna get jumped on pretty hard. Okay, but hear me out. This girl was real and horny. Yo, dude, in simple words, pretty much, dude, pretty much. No, but you know, I just want to say it, like, guys make mistakes, girls make mistakes, all is fair. You know, this is quite normal for both sides. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. Remember, these are real people behind the stories, and they're human and can make mistakes. They'll also be reading the comment section, so please try to have constructive criticism. There are always nicer ways to say something versus saying it meanly to help someone learn and grow. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra.